So I really appreciate your patience with Troy Weaver, but for me, I look at it as it's a roster that has been turned over, okay? And we're paying, dead cap to guys like Kemba Walker right now and other players, and we're just wasting money, and we're not spending money on free agents, and we're not drafting particularly great. And it's just really frustrating because you're seeing teams around the league that can flip around pretty quick.
You don't think they drafted particularly great?
No, not great. Killian Hayes, he still can't shoot
Who did
great.
you want? Who did you want?
In particular, in that draft, you'd have to bring up the names, and I would let you know. But
so nobody really stands out.
Nobody really stands out, and the team.
My point is to you. Nobody really stands out in that draft because if they did, you'd have it at your ready and just say, "Oh yeah,
they should have."
Xavier Tillman. They really rue the day they didn't draft him. I'm not saying Xavier Tillman, but
okay. How about Sadiq Bey regressing?
He hasn't had a great year, but not every draft pick's going to hit, right?
No, but I mean,
and he was also where was he drafted?
In the middle of the first round.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
you could still get a guy. Kawhi Leonard was in the middle of the first round.
I got you,
Just
but those guys aren't like sure things.
My problem is it takes 9 guys to fill a roster. Okay, usually 9 guys fills out your bench and who you play in and out. Mm-hmm. This roster is awful.
Well,
we still got Corey Joseph playing minutes.
In part because
he's got no sense of urgency.
Yeah. Corey Joseph is a weird player to me, and we've always kind of made fun of Corey Joseph's presence on this roster. But obviously, if Cade's healthy, he plays even less.
Well, if Cade's healthy, they win 3 more games. So what are we really talking about?
Well, we're talking about actually a better basketball team with a brighter future. I mean, Cade's being healthy doesn't have anything to do with how many games they win this year. It's getting him ready for next year. It's getting him ready for the year after that. It's getting him ready for when they
won a playoff series, Doug. Doug, when was the last time they won a playoff series?
2007.
They're actually the last team to even make the playoffs here.
Yeah, and what does that have to do with the job Troy Weaver's doing?
It's easier to flip a franchise and turn around and restart and reboot and get better
in the NBA.
When you only have to fill 9 guys. Yes.
Yeah,
I would disagree with that with the NBA. I don't think it's that easy to do in the NBA. I think in NFL it's much easier to do it in the NFL. I think it takes a lot of time in the NBA. It takes a lot of time. It takes more time in hockey.
I'm pretty sure you thought the Lions would win 6 games, Gator.
No, I thought they'd win 9. But
I thought they'd win
8,
actually.
You were 8. Sorry, 8.
But I just said it's much easier to do it in the NFL. I think it's
you see a lot more worst to first in the NFL.
I think it's hard to do it in the NBA. It takes time and
you need the superstar. You need the one thing that's everybody wants.
We're all frustrated because as Piston fans, we want the team to be better quicker. We want instant gratification. And they had the first pick overall a year ago, and he played part of one season, was hurt part of that season, and then hasn't played at all this year and won't play this year.
But
it's disappointing. But what they've done is stockpile a bunch of young talent, and yes, they have turned the roster over. But when your entire roster, save for 2 guys, are 24 and younger, you have to understand you're going to grow a little bit. This isn't the finished product, nor should it be yet. These guys have to grow together, figure it out. I mean, you're depending on first, second, and third-year guys with very little veteran leadership outside of Bojanovic. What are you expecting? I guess he's expecting playoffs.
Well, but when you introduce that, when's the last time they won a playoff series? That has absolutely nothing to do with what's going on here right now. What Troy Weaver's trying to accomplish. It doesn't mean anything. Like if you're trying to tell us the Pistons have sucked, thanks. We will make note of it. We know they've sucked. Everybody knows they haven't had a ton of success.
I don't know why. I know Yzerman played here. We all know what he did. 1 cups here, all that stuff. We all know what he did in Tampa, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what have you done for us, okay? And I'm not saying kick Yzerman out the door. I'm saying Yzerman and Weaver, everything you complain about Weaver, you could almost say the same thing with Yzerman. When's the last time the Red Wings won a playoff series? Why does that only apply to one guy? Troy Weaver, I think you said it earlier, Gator. His 2 downfalls might be injuries and coaching right now. But as far as acquiring talent, I think he's done a pretty damn good job.
Great job acquiring.
You're not going to hit on every single pick. But guess what? He's got 2 rookies that are going to be the Rising Star games. That's a start, right?
Would have had 3 if Cade Cunningham was
exactly,
healthy.
And that's your core. I mean, that's what you're looking to build on. Now, do we want to see wins coming up? Absolutely. Do they have to be at least closer than where they're at? For sure. But as far as, you're right, Doug, making the playoffs had nothing to do with Troy Weaver before he got here. The Red Wings have not won a playoff series in a very long time either. I think the Pistons are the last team to make the playoffs here locally, most recent team.
Let me double check. Oh, yeah, currently the record sucks. Got it. But this is, look at their roster, man. Look at their roster. We hope, and not every pick is going to hit. I don't know if Killian Hayes is really going to, but I'm not ready to give up on Jaden Ivey. I'm not ready to give up on Jalen Duren. I'm not ready to give up on Cade Cunningham. And I do still think, I mean, it's not over for Sadiq Bey, Killian Hayes, Isaiah Stewart. I mean, they're just getting started. We're going to have to, if you're going to go young and you're going to go rebuild, it doesn't happen overnight. Now, they could have done it a different way. They could have just gone after veterans. They could have, let's say, gone out and acquired, like a Blake Griffin, bring him to Detroit and start winning big. You could do that too. Unless that doesn't work, which we all know it didn't.